How are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, I'm good. Yourself?
I'm doing good. Always a pleasure to see you.
Yeah.
A million things to talk about, but let's jump into what I've been playing a game with everyone in Hollywood, and directors, producers, actors, and I want to play with you. It's called Save or Kill. I played it with a bunch of people yesterday. Don't be nervous. Even Gosling.
All right.
One of these things you can save. One of them is erased from existence. It's like a personality test. What would you like?
Okay.
What do you like more?
Okay.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Oh, they're not easy.
Which would I save or kill?
Which would you save?
I would save Star Wars.
The Wire or Mad Men?
Ooh, now that's really tough.
Right.
Because one of them I've seen on my own, one of them I watched the whole thing with my girlfriend, so that sharing experience I'm going to say Mad Men. Which, yeah.
Game of Thrones or Breaking Bad?
Well, Dink's a really good friend of mine, so I don't want to see him go. So I'm gonna say Game of Thrones.
Zelda or Mario?
That's a good one. Man, because I'm thinking really about which music I want to keep listening to from Zelda or from Mario.
I appreciate that you know that.
I guess I'm gonna save Mario.
The music might be better in the Mario Brothers games, but Link is still quite good.
Yeah. No, I think they're both. Yeah, they got some good. Yeah.
This one's pretty brutal. Han Solo or Indiana Jones?
I think I'm gonna go Han, because I'm definitely I really love sci-fi, and I like space too. Yeah.
Beatles or Rolling Stones?
I guess I don't have to qualify my answers. I should just answer.
Yeah. No. You know something? A lot of people like hearing why someone feels some way about the answer. I've had people Matt Damon zoomed through these, brutal, and I've had other people explain.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Why it means something to them.
Beatles or Stones?
Yeah.
Beatles for sure.
Where am I at? Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings?
I'm gonna go Potter.
There's no wrong answer.
Yeah.
Well, maybe for some people there are.
Yeah, some people are gonna.
Iron Man or Captain America?
Iron Man.
NSYNC or Backstreet Boys?
Oh damn, that's pretty good. That's a good one. I don't know. I feel like at the end of that, what's the film that Seth Rogen and Evan directed? This Is the End.
Yes.
And they have that Backstreet Boys sequence at the end. That's the first thing that came to mind. So I'm gonna go Backstreet.
Backstreet's back. Twilight or 50 Shades of Grey?
Don't care.
That's the right.
I'm totally kidding.
By the way, that's the right answer.
It's so terrible.
No. I've heard that from about 1,000 people. That is the correct answer.
I haven't read any of them, and I haven't seen. Although 50 Shades of Grey sounds kinky, so if I had to save one, I guess I'm gonna go with that.
Alfred or Yoda?
Oh. Well, my boy Michael Caine is right around the corner here. What do you expect me to say?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to say anything, but I think we have the answer.
Yeah.
This one's absolutely brutal. We'll see if you answer. Scorsese or Spielberg? I'll let you have a pass.
It's really funny. No. You know it.
It's just a game, though.
Yeah, totally. I mean, Close Encounters and Jaws are masterpieces. I do think Raging Bull is one of the greatest films ever made, so.
I love that. That was a very good answer. It took me a second. DC or Marvel?
I guess as a kid I read more Marvel, yeah.
Back to the Future or Ghostbusters?
Ghostbusters.
Sopranos or Walking Dead?
Sopranos.
Michael Jackson or Prince?
Michael.
Batman or Superman?
Batman.
Woody Allen or Mel Brooks?
Woody Allen.
Seinfeld or Friends?
Seinfeld.
I think I know the answer to the next one, but Tarantino or Paul Thomas Anderson? Exactly. Blur or Oasis?
Oh, actually that's kind of tricky, because that's tapping into my my middle school self, and I feel like I went through both phases. I guess more likely to hear Oasis at karaoke, but I think I'm gonna go Oasis.
Sure. Halloween or Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Is it the first Halloween that has that amazing opening shot where it's like going around the point of view kind of thing?
The first Halloween, I'll tell you a secret. Most people pick Halloween,
Yeah.
and that original movie is really, really good.
Yeah, that's what I'm remembering, and I am gonna go with Halloween.
A few last ones, and then we're jumping into something else. Battlestar Galactica or Buck Rogers?
Mm-hmm. I'm not familiar with either, but I'm gonna go with Battlestar because I have a friend who loves it, and yeah.
Jason Bourne or Ethan Hunt?
I think I'm gonna go with Ethan.
Sure. Tom Cruise knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
The Simpsons or Family Guy?
The Simpsons.
Brady Bunch or Gilligan's Island?
Brady Bunch.
And the final one, Monty Python or Saturday Night Live?
Interesting. We'll go with SNL.
Thank you for playing. Now, hopefully I've broken up the monotony of doing the same questions, but now let's...
Oh, that was brutal! No, that was good. It was good. That was actually fun, but, oh, man.
Most people enjoy it just because
Yeah.
you're not answering the same question again and again.
Yeah.
Now let's jump into the movie. When you think back on the making of Youth, is there a day or two you're always going to remember?
Yeah, I mean, there's one spoiler, which was on my 30th birthday. I had to dress up as a certain character that I play in the film. So I spent my 30th birthday dressed as a surprise character, and it was the most bizarre way one could spend turning 30. It definitely brought on some existential, looking in the mirror and going, and I definitely remember showing up to the spa for the first time, thinking that this was going to be like the most luxurious shoot ever, and I'm just going to and it was like closed for the season, and it was raining, and there was no food or beverage in the entire, and it was just like The Shining, and I was there alone, and like walking around, and then I stumbled upon Mark Kozelek, who's an amazing musician and an interesting guy, and I'd be like, hey buddy, like, should we hang out? Because you're sort of just alone in this hotel spa. I have a lot of good memories. I also like Michael and his wife, Michael Caine and his wife Shakira. They were like grandparents to me. They would take me out to dinner and food and wine. They wouldn't let me pay, and I would just chat with them. They'd tell me stories, and it was a nice one.
Yeah, that sounds very tough.
Yeah.
Was it more of a vacation? You sure you got paid to do this movie?
No, that is, I have to say, like, there were, because my character is somewhat observational at times and sort of studying the people around him, I did get to sit there and watch Paolo work and watch his DP Luca and watch Michael and watch Harvey and watch Rachel, and it was, it doesn't sound like what a job is, supposed to be.
In the last few years, you've definitely won the lottery in terms of what you've gotten to do. I call it the actor's lottery, and you've definitely been a winner. What has it been like for you being able to work with these talented filmmakers and actors and sort of learn the craft from the pinnacle of the industry?
Yeah, I mean, that, for me, it's just like more fuel for the fire. It's inspiration, and as an actor, I definitely feel like, we don't necessarily write the words, we don't cut the performance, and so for me, if I get to go to work with a filmmaker who's made a film that I like, it just makes me even more excited to get to go do what I do, and the trust level, you feel like you can just throw yourself in there and take, a risk, and I've played some interesting characters along the way too, and I just wouldn't do that unless it was for somebody who I felt like, hey, I can figure this, I can take this risk because I know you're taking the same risk, and we're in it together, and we're trying to make something that we both like. And I certainly try to, always give all of myself to my work and to my characters. and because I see that in the people that I work with too. So I feel super lucky as well.
What would you say has changed about the way you prepare for a role over the course of the last few years? Because I would imagine with all this experience, you've gained that knowledge of what do I really need to do, or how do I like to work, and maybe how has it changed for you?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's definitely the content sort of lends itself to the form, so I feel like there are probably things one always does. There's going to be a certain amount of like script work, so to speak, like just kind of going through the details, figuring. There's going to be a certain amount of like backstory work. There's going to be a certain amount of research, but the fun part is what is the character telling you that it needs. Like, you kind of have to try to pick up the scent each time and go, what, should I be working with? So, I'll try to give a quick example. Like, so on Love and Mercy, for me, I was going to be playing somebody real, and for some reason, my first impression of the character was that it was so kind of open and raw. It's such an open and raw vessel, that person. I didn't want to be tempted towards mimicry in any way, so my first couple months of preparation were only listening to the studio sessions and learning to play and sing, and then some script and reading stuff. But I didn't look at photos, I didn't look at video, I just didn't even want to go near trying anything external yet. On Youth, it was probably the opposite, where Jimmy Tree, Paolo's details in the script, I just loved the idea of if I was an actor who was wearing sunglasses during this interview right now, I just don't do that, we're inside, so I'm not wearing sunglasses, but I loved, I just loved, so I started probably with the externals on that, possibly, I'm trying to remember, but I can't rock jewelry, I'm not, but Jimmy Tree can, so what's it like to put on a necklace and sunglasses, and it does immediately change how I might sit and feel, and so I'd say the fun part is when it's different, and that I think is just trying to follow the character.
Did you take out for a spin the jewelry and the whole look in Hollywood or New York and say, how do I get treated a little differently?
I definitely do believe I did a little shopping so that in New York I could get comfortable and feel ownership of that type of style, which is not how I dress at home. I don't think I came to LA, but I know, I also knew I had enough to draw on from my experience.
If I'm not mistaken, you might be working with Bong Joon-Ho in the future. Mm-hmm. Did I say that wrong?
Did you pronounce the name wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Because the worst part is I've met him before and interviewed him, I'm terrible with names. Yours is easy, so I can get it, but everything else is anyway, the point is, I believe you're going to be working with him. He's one of my favorite filmmakers out there. I love his work. Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about getting ready to work with him, and what can you tease people?
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't, it's...
I don't want you to spoil anything.
No. Yeah, no, it's probably one of those things, I know this is kind of a bummer of an answer. I generally feel until you actually start doing something, it's best not to talk about it, because, there's still a ways to go before we actually do the thing.
Sure.
And all of that. So, all I could say is that I, too, am a huge fan of Bong's. I think he's the real deal. And I think it's going to be a cool movie.
Well, what's interesting to me is that I believe Netflix came on board to finance this thing, which is the whole industry is just shifting. And it's fascinating. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something about my little index card, which you can talk about. You just did Codes of Conduct and War and Peace, or am I wrong about this?
Yeah, we haven't finished Codes of Conduct. So so I've got Youth we're chatting about, and then I did a 6-hour miniseries of War and Peace for the BBC and the Weinstein Company, and I believe that's coming out late January. I was in Russia, Latvia, and Lithuania for 6 months, and it was full on. was kind of my first time doing that kind of thing, and you know, we had one director, we had some beautiful actors. With the scope of it is amazing. We were in amazing places, and again, that's one where it's like, I guess the preparation part is so important to me because like I had so much to learn and dive into and fill up on, you know, to go do War and Peace, and I have a really beautiful character in it, and yeah, that was a big one. It's weird that I'm gonna have to talk about it soon because 6 months, you know, it's kind of one of those things where it's like I'm not ready to go back yet to.
Sure.
You know, I'm still recovering.
When did you wrap on that?
I flew back. I went over there at like top of January and flew back June 30th, basically.
Oh wow!
So it was like
that's hardcore.
Mid-January to June 30th, I came home. Yeah.
Well, I gotta go, but what are you doing next? What's your next thing?
That's the next thing coming out. I have
I meant like for filming.
a couple things. Oh, to act in?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't. I mean, you know, there's a couple things I'm going to do next year, and you know, again, I don't know why. I'm just. I'll wait till I start them to.
Sure. I hope you can call Denis and say, I would like to maybe be a bit player, a day player on a certain Blade Runner sequel.
Yeah. I know he's going to crush it.
I mean, please.
Yeah.
If anyone can do it, it's him. Congratulations on this, especially Love and
Thanks,
Murder,
man.
all that stuff. Let me hit stop.